Well, today is another segment of our Break Free and Thrive interviews. And today I have the auspicious guest today of Marilyn Harper, who is one half of Aradonda and Company. And I really want to spend some time focusing on all of the energy that Marilyn brings to our interview today so that you can see the magic that I saw when I first met her. So thank you, Marilyn, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Karen, for having me here. It's a whirlwind year, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I heard that you were on the Whirlwind Tour starting 2019 in many different places, but actually traveling around the globe. Can you share a little bit about your travels and what you do as the vessel of your organization?
Absolutely. I set the intention a long time ago that I raised my hand and volunteered that I will go anywhere, do anything, say anything, as long as you can prove to me that you're source moving through me. And I didn't know at the time that what I was volunteering for. But this year has been already an amazing year of travel. I've been to Melbourne, Florida. I just got back from Houston. I'm at this moment in Phoenix, Arizona. I have 2 events in Phoenix. Next weekend, I go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, then Toronto, then Calgary, Canada, Montreal, Egypt. It's a whirlwind tour for sure, and it is around the globe. What we do with Adirondha is the spokesbeing for the council that I channel, and they came in 1999 and really activated me and activated the intention of raising the consciousness of this planet for the shifting planet to be able to anchor that energy of peace, love, and joy on this planet a little more deeply. I had no idea what that was going to look like at the time, but it certainly is a fun journey so far.
Well, I do have to say, as a result of our conversation, and I know this isn't your normal surrounding, but I have to say, you bring the light, because the light is behind you, and the light you can see on your shoulder, and you can see it on your face, and it's the magic, and it's that, I almost going to say, it's the pixie dust of what you bring.
I love that. I held my hand up, and it does look a little like pixie dust because the sunlight is streaming through the blinds in front of me.
Yes, absolutely. So as a result of being the vessel and you're channeling energy, I would think that sometimes is exhausting, sometimes is energizing, and sometimes it's just like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to handle all of this. So as someone that has, and I think that there are times when we all feel our own vessel is kind of being depleted, and it's a matter of, okay, we have to go out and replenish. So can you share with me a little about that process of replenishing within?
Absolutely. We set up an agreement, Adirondha, who is actually a spokesbeing for a council of 12 or more of beings on this planet, ascended masters, archangels. And we set about a long time ago deciding that they would not use my energy in order to bring the messages that they choose to bring to this planet. So as a result, I don't get tired out. I can do 10 or 12 sessions in a day and not feel tired at the end. I mean, my body, Adirondha, sits differently than I sit, or stands differently than I stand. But I think any channel, you don't want to use your own energy source. It's a higher energy source that you're taking part in. And if you find that you're uncomfortable, then that's a signal that you're using your own energy. And I had to learn that in the very beginning. Adirondha, who's from the 17th dimension, the angelic realm, had not ever communicated through a human form before. So that was pretty interesting to get that vibration working all in the same direction. And how they chose me was an interesting adventure. It'll come out in the book at some point.
Okay. So had you felt some of this energy as you were a young girl and adult until the
No.
time when this, when you were kind of tapped on the shoulder?
No, I was a regular person. I was deacon in the Christian church. I was selling advertising for a country western radio station in Springfield, Missouri. I was not metaphysical. When I was a kid, as a lot of kids do, dabbled in hypnosis and things like that. But I really didn't have in my concept whatsoever um, channeling or bringing messages in from a higher source or any of that. It was all an energy that came through after I experienced a major transformation in my world. In 1993, I experienced a major transformation. Some would call that a walk-in experience, where the soul that was born in this body, which I don't know how this happens, but due to a prior agreement, they left, and instead of the body dying, a new soul came in to take their place. And Ruth Montgomery coined that phrase in the 80s, and we don't see too much of that anymore because the integration period is quite drastic, 8 years normally, and we need to move more quickly now. But to have this huge awakening, have this huge energy come in, and most walk-ins have a burning desire to make a difference in the world, and they really have that choice to be all that they are, and that's kind of what I've been doing since I woke up. And I started channeling in 1999, unbeknownst to me. I mean, I've had several people tell me that I was a channel, and it was totally against my religious beliefs. But then when you stop and think about it, the Bible is channeled.
Yes.
And most writers channel, even fiction writers channel the information that they're putting on the page. So it's really no different than that. The main difference is that we bring with us a collective force that has the ability to sort of see, sense, know things that are going on in an undercurrent or an overcurrent of energy that your logical mind may or may not be aware of. And that way they can help you develop a plan really to be all that you are. And I think that that's what we do more than anything else, is we help people understand that they are, as Adironda says, the most creative life force on this planet or in this galaxy. And what is happening is we are creating and manifesting every moment, every day, and we are in charge of what we're creating. And that's so exciting.
It's so juicy.
It is.
So when you received this new soul, was it a baby soul, or was it a more mature soul, or did you not notice what it was because the masters were kind of taking care of that for you?
Well, I knew that it was something different. I was, it was an advanced soul.
Okay.
And so it didn't come in as a baby. It came in 1993 when I was, 41 years old or something. And, everything shifted. I didn't know what had happened for about 3 years. And I thought that I was losing my mind. I couldn't wear the same clothes. I didn't want to do the same things. I had new talents and skills. And it wasn't until I woke up to that fact that I realized that I am a different person, and that's okay. And that I have a mission to help shift the consciousness of the planet. And when I acknowledged that, that's when everything really started to take off. That was 1996. And it was just an amazing time. I did automatic or inspired writing every day for a few years. And that was really like a how-to manual. And that was really powerful for me. And then, I started saying, I'll be anything. I will do what is necessary. And that was when Adironda, this interdimensional being, came through me, but they didn't really come through me until I was ready. And it wasn't like possession or anything like that. When I was ready and I said, okay, I'm here to be. And then they came through and they brought through the message. Their influence is, their intention is to help every person on this planet feel what it feels like to be held in total and complete unconditional love. And we see it I just got done with a group in Houston. I'm going to be in Phoenix. I don't know when this airs, but I'm everywhere. What we found is, like, when Adironda looks into people's eyes and holds their energy, their heart just opens. It's so phenomenal. And I'm so completely blessed to be able to be a part of that unconditional love energy. It's one of those things that we know on an intellectual place, that unconditional love exists. But I think most humans, they don't quite know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. I think that they don't quite, they know it exists. They know that they're aware that it, and conscious that it's there, mm-hmm. but to actually feel that in the cells of your body it's life-changing. It really is life-changing. I've had people in our groups that Adironda has touched them or spoke to them or, even looked at them, and they have come to me weeks or months later and say, I don't know what happened, but I'm completely different.
Okay. So that actually brings up a very good point, because as a result of you and I just having this conversation, we're tapping into the power of Adironda. Yeah. You're passing that message. So as I'm sitting here in front of you and just energized by your message, we're all benefiting from the wisdom that you're sharing throughout the world.
Yes, exactly. And that's how it works. That's why, the universe brought us together in the most interesting of fashions, someplace where neither one of us would never, ever really be.
Exactly.
And how we connected, and to now, a few years later, I don't even know when that was, mm-hmm. have that synergy of energy, and that's really the key of the universe. That's really the key to just say yes, to see what presents, hold in your focus. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what these are the known factors, and I'm willing to step into the unknown. Show me the pathway, and show me the pathway with as much ease and grace as is possible.
Well, and as you say that, I just had this vision of, it's kind of like threads, and those threads are just weaving us, connecting us, but weaving us together and closer. And that's what's creating kind of the blanket of love, or the blanket that kind of puts its arms around you to say, I'm helping you to be the best that you can. You can rise above all of this vibrational density that's below us, and you can see what the power that you have within. I'm just really inspired just as a result of that. And I was just like, the clarity of seeing those threads, and some of those threads were golden threads, and some of those were just like pixie dust threads that connect us.
Yes, and as those threads interweave with each other, that's really the tapestry of life and the beauty of it, and that we don't all have to have the same idea. We don't have to have the same input. We don't have to have the same message even. But it's all interwoven, so everyone receives exactly what is in their highest good to receive at the perfect moment. So evolution then is possible.
I think that is just, that's another juicy little nugget that you shared with us. So one of the other things I wanted to chat about was, have you, as a result of being on this journey, have you seen that there have been like little nuggets that have raised vibration with others, or gone through segments where you've kind of seen there's an uplift and there's another uplift?
Yes, absolutely. What we see because we meet anywhere between 30 to 300 people a weekend,
Okay.
and sometimes more, 1,600. And I'm trying to stay out of the I am the light.
There you are.
As the sun is moving in my direction. That's funny. But what I found is that the universe will support whatever it is that you are choosing to support, and that in this energy, as my computer falls off its little pedestal here, in this energy that comes in, what we found is Joy and I, my business partner and I, we are seed planters. And so we plant the seeds and we send in the water and send in the healing energy and hold that space. And then people are taking that to the next level and the next level and the next level. We had somebody that always wanted to be on Broadway, and she came to one of our events. We do plurk shops. We call them play plus work equals plurk. Plurk shops each weekend. And we set an intention of what we're creating in the world. And she said, well, I know this sounds silly, but I've always wanted to be on Broadway. And she lived in that area, which was good. And she had the courage after our event the very next day to go audition. And now she's on Broadway.
Oh.
And that's how it happens. So we are that seed planter. We are bringing that nugget of courage, that nugget of connection, that nugget of information, as you call it, sort of sprinkling everything with pixie dust over the energy, and then watching it ignite. It is the most fun thing I believe I have ever accomplished or ever done, is to see the light bulb go on over someone's head and see that energy when they take that step that they've always been a little bit afraid of, and take that step and move it forward and watch it all blossom. It's just the most beautiful experience.
Well, and I think that's also one of the things when you and I connected. We had met a couple of years ago, and I wasn't articulating exactly what I wanted to do, that I wanted to interview you, because there was just something in my head that said, you need to connect with Marilyn. And your question was, well, would you like a session, or would you like to meet with my partner? And it really took us just a couple moments to figure out, no, I wanted to interview you. I wanted to find out what you were doing, but I also wanted to connect my community with you and your efforts, only because knowing that you were raising the vibration, on the planet, and also sometimes we don't realize that our vibration needs to be elevated. And I think that was one of the things that I really was looking to do. So if you can just share a little bit about how you and Joy work together, and in your workshops, you're channeling energy, but it is for the goal of raising that vibration, is it not?
That is correct. It is for the goal of helping you learn. At this point, we are doing 3 different plurk shops. One is how to channel, even if you think you can't. And one is activating the superhuman that is within you, which is actually a 2-part series, to live in the quantum field and to create synchronicity in your world. Ooh. And so I know. It's like the key is, and this is what we're traveling all over the world doing, and the key is that you get to understand that everything in your environment, everything in your field is creating whatever you're intending. And so what we help people learn is is to accommodate that creative energy and be able to kind of funnel it and direct it. And when you do, the most amazing things happen. Just like you and I getting in contact with each other. I mean, we were both at conferences that neither one of us are really related to anymore. and surrounded by people that really were not a part of our world. But the universe brought us together for this experience. So now we can take this experience and move forward from it. And that's really what is happening when you live in the creative synchronistic field. That energy is in automatic flow, and it's sort of an ebb and flow sometimes. It's and you get the opportunity to follow the focus. You get the opportunity to hold the space, and we teach that at our workshops. We teach people to hold the space for what they're choosing to create, even though they may not have a total concept of it yet. And then how to just say yes when the opportunity presents itself.
So as you've described what you're doing, it actually had me go through a little deja vu, because these are some of the words that I've been saying, talking about ebb and flow and energy and following the wave and going to where you feel your energy rising. And sometimes that's to the water, sometimes that's to the top of a mountain. It's just where you feel elevated so that you can share your message. And it's kind of interesting. I know you've traveled a lot around the country. Do you find that there are some places in the country, based on elevation, that they are higher on the mountain, or that they are just more open to whatever that pixie dust is that's in the air? Is there an energetic flow that you notice from one kind of location to another?
That's an interesting question, Karen. It's like what we found is that many times we go into a group and they've done a lot of soul work. Okay. They've done a lot of the back end work. They've looked into their soul and said, what's blocking me? What's stopping me? What do I still get to forgive? What is my path, and how do I move from where I am to where I choose to be? And that is one vibration. I don't want to say it's higher or lower, because we meet people that have no concept of that we even have blockages, and they skyrocket. They skyrocket beyond, just because that's the path that they're on. So I love this country. I love travel, which is good. But sometimes we go into a community like we were in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Oh. I didn't know that was a community. I had no idea. And I thought, when we drove into town, I thought, oh, so this will be an interesting energy. But it's this tiny community of artists. I mean, they have 45 or 50 physically working artists that are making their living at their art within a 15-mile radius of this tiny community in West Virginia. Wow. And you would never, ever have a concept. So I don't think you can categorize one higher vibration or one lower vibration. It's all that vibration. You would think that people in Sedona or Mount Shasta or would have a higher elevated message or a higher, and that's not necessarily the case. There is no competition any longer. That it's all completely relative, and it's in that ebb and flow of energy. And as we do have that ebb and flow of energy, it's about just having the willingness to take the next step that's placed in front of you. And that's a part of the cool thing. And in this energy that we're in right now is the just the amazing part of I'm looking at the light. You've got the light here and you've got the non-light here, but at the same time, they're interrelated and they're all connected.
So again, it's that tapestry really goes above all boundaries, and it really connects everyone in it that's ready to receive.
Exactly. And that's the key. I think that the key is to be ready. And the key is to I know that this is a hard thing for people to get sometimes. We, at our last clerk shop in Houston, we went over and over. It's like, you don't want to limit the energy. You
Mm-hmm.
want to have an idea. You want to have a vision of how you want to be, but it really is a feeling mechanism. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, change happens first in the emotional body. So we ask the question, how do you want to feel when you get up in the morning? How do you want to feel when you are going to work or clerk or experience life? And that is the foundation. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have that as your foundation, then everything else just starts falling into place, and then you start following that wheel and that following that flow of the energy, and eventually it moves a little faster and
Woo!
moves a little faster, and it's like a roller coaster then.
Woo! Well, and actually, that's another thing that you've kind of brought to mind, because sometimes when you're in I'm going to say a corporate job, that's where it came from, and you're working on the goal, and it's kind of like sometimes you feel like all of the feelings are shut down, they're stuffed, because you just have to focus on, whatever that business goal is. So the balance here is, once you get away from your work environment, what are you doing personally for yourself?
And that's really a part of the key, is you have to honor yourself. You have to trust yourself. And that's one of the reasons I'm a little hoarse. I was not practicing much self-care. The things that happened in January, I could go on and on about. And but you have to take care of yourself in the process. You have to really realize that you are your priority. And we're taught as young children, in this dimension anyway,
Mm-hmm.
to always put others first, and always, to be humble, and not have any of that self-care energy. However, if you're not going to care for yourself, who else is?
Right.
Then you become dependent upon others. And it really is about honoring yourself. It really is about asking yourself, what is it that makes you happy? What is it that and it's not something that's outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is that choice. And so many times what we see is people are looking for other things outside of themselves for their own happiness. So therefore, that doesn't ever really happen. And the key is for that happiness to come from within, and then it's always with you, that inner joy.
Oh, that's a nugget. That's a huge nugget. Oh, I like that so much. So if people would like to connect with you, how do they do that? If they want to attend one of your workshops, how do they do that?
Well, we would love to have any of your people attend any of our plurk shops. We call them plurk shops. Play plus work equals plurk. And our website is adironda.com. That's ADIRONNDA.com, or MarilynHarper.com. Takes you to the same spot. Okay. There's a tab on it says channeling, and they can schedule private sessions. I do private sessions. Okay. And there's another tab that's got quantum adventures. We're going to Thailand and Bimini and Egypt and lots of places. Ooh. And there's another tab that's got plurk shops or events, live events. And that's where the plurk shops are. We're every city, every weekend, we are in a different city until next October.
Oh my goodness. You are on the road. You are spreading the pixie dust. You are connecting all of those threads in the tapestry. You are raising the vibration. And we see the light on your face, Marilyn, as you are just full of light, my dear.
Well, it is my pleasure. I'm so thrilled to be a part of your show, because you are doing the same thing, Karen. You are shifting the consciousness of the planet, and it takes all of us. It takes a village. It takes all of us working together. And so they can go on my website, MarilynHarper.com is easier to spell than Adironda. They can also find information about walk-ins there, information about, we've got all kinds of free recordings and channeled recordings. I think there's a tab that says free stuff or recordings or something. And we try to put up messages on that all the time. We've got all kinds of free meditations and just come and visit us.
I will be pleased to. I am grateful to you and honored that you have joined us today. I'm going to put all of the links at the bottom of our interview today. And I want to thank you for joining us, Marilyn, on Break Free and Thrive, because we are all looking to thrive in our own lives so that we can create the life that we choose.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marilyn.